Well, my first experience of Shakespeare was my mother took me to see an RSC production of Midsummer Night's Dream at the Barbican when I was 12 or 13, I think. And I remember Titania and Bottom going up into the gods in a huge pink, inside a sort of enormous upturned Mary Poppins fluffy feather-bowered umbrella, off to do their business in the sky. And I remember thinking, I also remember being part of the audience who were having a really good time. I mean, it was really genuinely funny. It was one of those productions of Midsummer Night's Dream which makes you laugh out loud. I couldn't understand the specifics of the language, I couldn't follow particular thought structures, but I knew what was going on. You know, I knew that Bottom had turned into a donkey, and it was all sort of like a bit of a weird thing. And you know, the Lysander, Demetrius, Hermia, Helena dynamic was very easy to understand. Mistaken identity, in love with the wrong person. I thought that was great. I thought that was, you know, really funny. And very simple.
So when do you think you thought of Shakespeare as being something a bit different from other people that was really worth knowing about?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I suppose after that, I should be honest, were the films of Ken Branagh. I remember going to see Much Ado About Nothing in the cinema, you know, sort of being dragged along, and having agreed to it because Denzel Washington was in it, and I knew he was. But I came away with the play. I really did. I came away with an enormous a sense of, you know, a spring in my step, a sense of joie de vivre. I think it's his warmest, most human play. I think it's very, very forgiving and very kind on you know, human nature, that play. It's really about the best in us. And I remember thinking that was really, really fun. And at a time when I probably was not interested in that kind of, I was probably more interested in much more commercial entertainment in terms of Hollywood comedies or action films. You know, I was a teenager then, and all teenage boys are interested in Terminator, and that's about it.
Come hither, Leonardo. What was it you told me of today? That your niece, Beatrice, was in love with Signor Benedict?
It must have been around A-levels, age 17, 18. I was studying Othello and The Tempest as part of English A-level. And also I was going to the theatre a lot because I was already a very keen actor at school. And I was starting to really cotton on to the depth of his, well, just his language. I used to love the way that he would phrase things. You know, I can still remember parts of language that I learned way back. There's a line in I've never forgotten it, is when sorrows come, they come not single spies but in battalions. That's Claudius in Hamlet. And I remember thinking, that's an epic way of saying you're having a really bad day. So I suppose the thing that really keyed me into Shakespeare was the way the way that Shakespeare used words specifically. Shakespeare's plays are imbued with an enormous depth of wisdom and humanity and understanding and compassion about the human spirit. And all of these things I came to understand at a later date. But the thing is, as a teenager, that really kindled my passion for it was Shakespeare's very specific phrasing and the fact that he used words very smartly. Shakespeare can take your breath away sometimes when it's as if the thought or the word or the phrase has been coined in usage right now. And the way that Shakespeare wrote is the way people speak right now.
Good Lord, banish Peter, banish Barloff, banish Poins, but the sweet Jack Falstaff, that kind Jack Falstaff, true Jack Falstaff.
So when Falstaff says banish Peter, banish Barloff, banish Poins, but banish Jack Falstaff, kind Jack Falstaff, whatever it is, banish Falstaff and banish all the world. And Hal simply says, I do. I will.
Banish plump Jack and banish all the world.
I do. I will.
We've cut.
I mean, it's as if it's just happening right now today, 2012, in a contemporary context. It seems so heart-shatteringly simple. It's what David Suchet, when you have that level of simplicity in his plays. David Suchet told me he always writes a note in the margin that just says NAR, which stands for no acting required.